All right, so we are back after some technical difficulties. So I'm gonna have to do or had to do some editing work to fix what happened. My computer's on its last legs, unfortunately, about to be time for a new one. But that's as life goes. I feel like a lot of times a lot of these corporations make stuff less durable, so you buy more of their stuff. I've heard it with other products, so maybe that's with this laptop. I've had it for not even 4 years, 3.5 years. But so going on to our next topic, Nathan, just about the outlook of the AAC in general. I know we talked beforehand about how hard it is to really predict, honestly, any conference or any I guess college football in general, just because of the transfer portal and the amount of moves. Where Army and Navy seem to be the most stable team. Army, Navy, and Air Force seem to be the most stable teams with the transfer portal because it's just a one-way flow. Yep, players transferring out and not that many, to be honest with you. But just the way it looks, I guess, who do you think are some teams to watch in the AAC just after spring ball?
Um, I mean, obviously, I haven't really followed a lot of the teams like in spring ball, but I'd say just kind of like how last year went, and even just some of the coaching hires. I mean, I definitely Tulane's. I think they'll be in the thick of it again. I'm sure Memphis will be too. Those are two, in my opinion, really well coached teams, two really solid programs. Curious to see how UTSA does this year. I know they had a bit of a down year last year, but I think Jeff Traylor is one of the best coaches in college football, and I am shocked he hasn't gotten a Power Four opportunity yet, but I'm sure one of these days he will. So I think they're going to be one to watch. And honestly, a few teams too. Like I think Rice was kind of disappointing last year. I thought they were going to be a lot better than what I expected, and I'm kind of curious to see. I kind of like their new coach that like Scott Abel, his name is. He did from Davidson College, and really intrigued by him. And it sounds like it's kind of cool because I think he's a big option guy too. So I think they're gonna be doing like a lot of like option stuff out of the gun, which is I think for a program like that, I think is really good just because of the academic profile and kind of like an Army, Navy, or some of these other academic schools where I feel like you got to be a little more unique in how you play the offense. So really curious how they do this year. So
Yeah, I would agree. So I think Tulane is definitely a favorite. I think Memphis is going to take a step back. I think they'll look like how they were in 2023. Not a bad year by any stretch of the imagination, but not really turning any heads. I think they went 10-3 that year, but they were like a quiet 10-3 in the league. Seth Hennigan's gone, Mario Anderson Jr. is gone, even Rock Taylor, their great receivers, gone. So a lot of missing pieces on offense out there at Memphis. But Memphis is built like a program that will last. I mean, they're built to withstand losses. I think Tulane, like you said, will have the upper hand. It's just interesting because they, with the quarterback position, they had two. I mean, yeah, they had two great quarterbacks competing for the job with Kai Horton and Ty Thompson. Horton, of course, has started more than a few games over the years, including in 2021 as a freshman against number one Cincinnati. Talk about a welcome to college football moment. But he transferred out. I believe Thompson transferred out too. And then just I think either yesterday or Thursday, they got Brendan Sullivan, the Iowa quarterback, that lit that offense that just made that offense look like it hadn't looked in a few years. He transferred to Tulane, so it looks like Tulane is becoming the destination just for good transfer, just for good quarterback play, whether it be straight out of high school with Darian Mensah from last year or with transfers. Looks like people will go to Tulane to play good ball. Now they did lose lose Makai Hughes, their great running back from the last 2 years. He transferred to Oregon, but I think Tulane is great at recruiting running backs, and I think they shouldn't have any problem continuing with having a strong run game. So Tulane's my favorite. A team that I am very wary of, I think is a sleeper in the American, aside from the academies, is East Carolina. They finished the year really strong. They seem to have something good there. Something good there after their interim coach took over. I think it's Blake Harrell took over. They returned Caden Hauser, the quarterback that came into his own after taking over in midseason. They do lose a couple offensive pieces. They lose a 1,000-yard rusher, but this is a team with plenty of returning starters that I think could scare some teams in the AAC, especially Army. They have Army on that Thursday night game at home at Dowdy Ficklin. So I think East Carolina is a sleeper, and I like how you mentioned Rice. I don't think Rice is there just yet, but I think Rice um, can turn some heads, can definitely surprise some people. I think I kind of see them taking more like a trajectory like Tulane at first, because Tulane tried the whole shotgun option thing, and I think Rice is going to stick with it because it's in their blood. They ran the flex bone and the wishbone back from 1994 to I think 2003 under Ken Hatfield when he was there, and they had some great teams in those years. Actually, I think it was like 1990, 1991 maybe. But with the wishbone, they beat Texas. The only time they've beaten Texas since the early 60s. They almost went to a couple bowl games. They had a 40-year bowl drought, and they almost broke it a couple years in the 90s and 2000s. So, I mean, I think their hire, Scott Abell, is a great hire. I think what he did at Davidson had no hope in the Pioneer Football League. That program had never went to the playoffs, and they ended up being, I think 3-time back-to-back Pioneer Football League representatives in the playoffs. So I like Rice. I don't think Rice is ready just yet, but I do think in a few years, I think they will be once they get their athletes. But
Yeah.
I think with the American and the transfer portal, it's just so hard to predict with the transfer
Yep.
portal, especially with the American, where um, I mean the conference has just it's just so diverse in terms of like styles of play, in terms of regions that are being recruited. So it's just hard to really predict.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you, and I could see, like I said, I think Rice could be a little improved, but I mean, are they gonna come out of nowhere and probably win the league? I would say no, but I just like I said, I'm kind of intrigued by that hire. It was I liked it because it was kind of an out of the box hire, and I it wasn't maybe the flashy hire, but we've seen this happen. Like sometimes the flashy hire doesn't always win. I mean, look at Indiana with Kurt Signetti, or even I'd say Kansas with like Lance Leopold. I mean, just get a guy that's a good football coach, and that can do wonders. So
Yeah, exactly. And the gun options worked. I mean, New Mexico back in the mid 2010s, those are the only two bowl appearances since 2007 when they went to the New Mexico Bowl in 2015 and 2016. And when I was in high school, like that shotgun option was exciting. It was fun to watch, and it really equalized. It equaled the playing field for New Mexico. Like New Mexico beat Boise State running that offense. It's realistic to think that Rice will be able to compete with Memphis's your Tulane's
yeah,
running that same offense.
yeah, no, I think that was, like I said, I think that was a good move for them, and it just shows the option works. It's just people people are I feel like a lot of coaches and just the media, they're too worried about looking flashy, and you just find what works and wins you games. So
Yeah, absolutely. And then with us recording this before the draft, one more topic I want to ask is with Raywan Lane. Do you think him getting drafted will help recruiting for Navy and the service academies? Do you think it helps, or do you think there is still that stigma of playing at a service academy and essentially just not having that door to the pros?
um, I think it'll help. I mean, are we gonna all of us? I mean, obviously we've had other guys get drafted. I mean, you had Malcolm Perry in 2020, you had Keenan Reynolds in 2016. I know there was that Joe Cardino, or I don't know his name right. That long snapper who's still, I think, still with the Patriots, from what I know. I think it'll help, but you know, I mean, obviously, is it going to help us? Are we going to be getting a bunch of 5-star recruits? Probably not. That'd be awesome, but I'm a realist. I mean, but I, you know, I don't know. I think it definitely helps all the academies. Because I think these guys should have a shot at the league. I mean, obviously, like I still believe you need to fulfill your service obligation. And I totally agree with that. But I think it's great that these guys can, you know, try to get a shot at the NFL and then do their service later on, or even just do the reserves while they're in. So
Yeah, I agree. I think if they are reservists, I think it kind of helps with recruiting for the greater army at large. Honestly, and I think it's great. I think a guy like Raywan Lane would help recruiting. Like we're not going to get 5 stars, but at least the opportunity to play Division 1 football and end up like a Raywan Lane, because I don't know how many stars he had out of high school. I think maybe it might have been 3 at most for a three
yeah,
star guy who doesn't have many offers outside of you know FCS schools. Even though FCS football is great, it's a great pipeline of talent. We've already seen a few guys drafted out of the FCS, but there's still that perception among high schoolers where it's not the FBS. It's not, I guess, yeah, it's not the highest level in their minds that maybe going to Army or Navy is a better option for them
Yeah.
if they see a guy like Ray Lane, or if they see the trio of guys that we have from Army on NFL rosters, the Elijah Rileys, the John Radigans, the Cole Christensens. So
Yeah.
I think it would help. I also think too, something I mentioned on the Action Football podcast is, there we can talk about the merits of this later, the ethical merits of this later, with I guess guys seeing a guy like Elo Mendozie who went to or Elo Mendozi, sorry, Elo Mendozi, who went to Georgia from the transfer portal from Army. Whether it's right or not, but guys could see Army as a pipeline if to power leagues, to power conference teams, which I don't think it's right, but we could see guys that are early bloomers that could get high on the depth chart, by the time they reach their sophomore years at the academies, and then end up going to these programs and helping Army or Navy in the time that they're there. But it stinks that that's the way it is. But I do think that we will see an influx of talent with just these recent trends, an influx of, I guess, greater talent.
Yeah. No, and the thing I'm excited about too for the academies, I think with the transfer portal, I've heard this before, and it sounds like it's already kind of happening. I think it's going to give us a better shot at high school recruits. I mean, even just listen to like Brian Newberry's press conferences and just even like some of these other academy coaches. I mean, they're definitely able to open their recruiting pool up more just because of the portal, and it's making more opportunities for getting high school guys, and that's exciting. Whether or not we'll ever get 4 and 5-star guys, probably not, but even to get more shots at 3-star guys, or even guys that like getting more guys that could maybe play at a Power 5, Power 4 level. So
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even think about that too with the high school talent. But I mean, with so many guys just being shuffled around depth charts, like, why not get good high school guys that are not getting those opportunities, or would otherwise go to a JUCO, or otherwise go to a lower division program to actually get playing time. So that's a great point that I overlooked.
yeah, there was an article I saw a while ago, and they were talking about that because I think even Navy's like recruiting number was up quite a bit this year, so that was exciting to see. So I mean, you know, I at the end of the day, I mean, you're going to get developed at these academies. I mean, they're still truly developmental programs, and obviously, college football, the way it's changed, it's just not that way as much anymore, especially at the bigger schools. But the academies, I mean, you're still going to get true development. And I think for a lot of these guys that need that, that's awesome. So.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more, honestly. And if you want to be, I guess, if you want that buy-in, you want a program to buy into you and to truly believe in you. I think being at these programs or being at the service academies is what's best. But without, I'm not sure if there's anything else you wanted to cover, or anything else you wanted to promote, Nathan, before we close off.
Um. Yeah, I was actually gonna ask. You got any? I know you like to travel to games and stuff. You got any games you're eyeing up for this upcoming season?
Not exactly. I mean, just since we'll be stationed in Oklahoma, probably just Cincinnati, Nebraska at Arrowhead.
Okay.
That's about a 5.5 hour, 6 hour drive for us, so not too bad. And then also to possibly, I mean, I'm either considering. I'm kind of torn. I'm on the fence between Army, Kansas State, or Arkansas State, where both are about 6 hour drives for us in Oklahoma. Just because Arkansas State's at Little Rock's War Memorial Stadium, and that might be the last game that Arkansas plays in that historic venue. But of course, Army playing Kansas State is going to be a big moment for the program. And I was born an hour away from Manhattan, or close to Manhattan, and in
Okay.
Fort Riley, so it'd be something interesting too. I mean, I won't say it's a homecoming. I mean, I just lived there for my first year of life, but just those two, honestly, and then the rest of the year is really up for grabs. I mean, I might even try to see Navy on September 13th when they come down to Tulsa, since that'll be close. And um, I'm trying to check off every AAC program versus the academies. So maybe them, but Yeah, I mean, not really as much travel this year. I'm gonna try to do do more local games, um, just with the lack of like neutral site games that are like really interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah, this year I'm thinking I might uh I might go out to Nashville when the LA Rams play the Titans maybe. So I might try to do that, and then I was thinking about because I've always kind of wanted to go to Liberty Bowl. I've always thought that'd be a cool stadium to check out. I know Navy plays there, but I don't know if I'll be able to make that work. I thought about doing that, or even possibly the Notre Dame game because I I think that could be a potential big matchup. Like last year, like even back in 2019, with how because I think Notre Dame will be probably really good again this year, even though I know they lost Leonard, but I think they're going to be in the thick of it again. And I think, like we said, I think Navy's going to have a chance at having a really good year. And Notre Dame Stadium is just I've been there before. It's one of my favorite stadiums I've been to in college football. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, I'm gonna get some heat for this, and I think I already have. Is like I really like going to the Notre Dame Navy games at the NFL stadiums because I think it just represents uh, service academy football on the big stage, like the way it used to be, like when Navy used to play games at the old Baltimore Memorial Stadium back in the day, or when Army would play at Yankee Stadium, or even at the when both schools would play games at the Meadowlands. Like that represents big, I guess the golden era of academy football. So I particularly enjoy those. Like I'm honestly like looking past this year's Notre Dame Navy game to 2026's at Gillette Stadium, which is great. It's great that the Notre Dame Navy game's going to different stadiums because excuse me, even for an old grad like myself, Army Navy game tickets they might as well be Super Bowl tickets. So that's easier. Like Notre Dame Navy is a much easier ticket, much more affordable ticket to get.
yeah. Yeah. I guess one other thing. Do you think Notre Dame Navy's ever going to go extinct, like just with college football where it's going? Or do you think it has a chance to survive? I guess what are your thoughts on the whole series?
So I don't think it will go extinct, honestly. And anytime I've heard just like murmurs about Notre Dame freeing up space in the schedule, the first game to go was always Notre Dame USC. So, but then again, if there is a super league, I feel like Notre Dame Navy would, if anything, if they go to a super league format, if anything, Notre Dame Navy might be like a kickoff game, just out of solidarity or something, just a kickoff game, because I do think that as long as Navy, I do believe that Notre Dame means it when they say as long as Navy wants a space on Notre Dame's schedule, that they will have it. And the saying is, God, country, Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a huge producer of officers in our armed forces.
Yeah.
So I think with that in mind, I don't think it'll ever go extinct, to be honest with you. Maybe that's
Yeah.
wishful thinking, but I think they'll find a way. Like if we still have a way for Army Navy to be played in the second week of December and the playoff to be fine with it, I think we'll be fine with Notre Dame Navy.
Yeah. No, that'd be awesome. I mean, obviously, like, it's probably not, I know there's a lot of mixed reviews in the game. I just love the story of the game. Obviously it's been a very lopsided series. I mean, because it just is what it is. I mean, Notre Dame is just a powerhouse and they have a ton of talent, but it's just the story of it. I think is what's so cool about it, and you don't see a lot of that in college football anymore. We've kind of lost those like good stories like that. It's just everything's just about money, money, money now. So
Yeah, exactly. But if I don't know if you have anything else to add.
I guess
Um,
the only other thing I could think of maybe adding is maybe just the thoughts on the potential moving Army Navy to week 0. I know Joe Klatt brought this up, and I know it caused a lot of controversy with fans. I know I have nothing against Joe Klatt, but I was just kind of like, man, don't move that game. It's like December is. I'm too much of a traditionalist, I guess, with that. It's like December is like the perfect time, end of the college, like end the season off right, biggest game of the year.
I think you said it. Like that's a non-starter to me. Yeah, that's a non-starter.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't even want to entertain that, to be honest with you. Like, I don't even want to entertain that. That's just how I feel about it. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not angry about it, but it's just like
Right.
it's a dumb idea,
Yeah.
honestly. And I got nothing else to say but that.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people feel that way. And, I've always, a rivalry, your biggest game of your season for anybody, I think should be your last game of the year. I mean, same thing with Ohio State, Michigan. Same thing with like Georgia Tech. I mean, that's your biggest rivalry game should be your last game of the year. That's what the fans look forward to. And I don't know. I just think these media people got to remember that. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll end it at
Exactly.
that.
Yep. But and anything else? Anything else you'd like to cover, Nate?
Uh, Not really, man. Just it's always a pleasure getting together with you, man. And just always appreciate your friendship, Omar. Like I've said this before to you, it's just funny how life works, and just how we got connected, and I've just appreciate your friendship, and just even the things that we talk about outside of doing, a podcast interview. It's been really cool, man. So.
Yeah, absolutely. The pleasure is mine, and I appreciate your friendship too. I mean, I'm always glad just to talk football and just other things in life with anyone. But and I mean, this won't be the last time. But until
Yeah.
next time, everyone. Thanks again, Nathan, for taking some time, waking up early. I think it's like 8:30 on your end, 9:30 out here at Eastern time. Waking up early, talking ball, and other stuff with me. Until next time, everyone. Thanks for joining. Peace, love, and soul, and the Burger Popper.